Hello, today we're going to saute. That means to cook in a very hot pan. No liquid is involved till the very end of the cooking. We're going to get some caramelization, which will contribute to the flavor and its browning. I'm going to do chicken today, and I'm going to show you a process real quick that you might do before you cook your chicken. That's to kosher it, which means soak it in salt water for a brief period. 20 minutes, maybe 30 minutes. And what I'm going to do is slice it like you're seeing. I'm going to just make it slices, not too thin. I don't spend a lot of time, but I end up with whole pieces like this. Then if you want to, you can even make that smaller. This is going to cook down a little bit. It's going to shrink. But we're going to leave it long like this because the stems are delicious when they're properly cooked. This is an Italian form of cooking, or way of cooking vegetables. They cook more than broccoli this way. Brussels sprouts, lots of things like that. We're going to saute it, which means in a hot pan with a little oil. And saute actually in French means to jump. So when you're sauteing and the pan is hot and you put your ingredients in and they start to pop, maybe a couple pieces pop right out of the pan, you're sauteing. So I'll finish up this broccoli. We're going to slice the chicken, and then we're going to go to the stove and learn how to saute. I'm going to show you how to make a scallopini with the chicken breast. You can pound these, but I prefer to just give them 3 slices right through the middle. I'll show you. You can start at the fat end or the skinny end, it doesn't matter. Put a little pressure on your chicken. These are still just a teeny bit tight because these have been previously frozen. But put it down there, and as you see, I dried it off so it's not slipping. And then you're just going to take a sharp knife, and you're just going to, using your hand, I know it looks scary, but using your hand, to just keep it in place. And the knife is doing the work. So now we're going to do another one. See, when it's a little slimy, it takes a little bit. I have my clove of garlic, so before I dredge my chicken, I'm just going to make sure that this is open. I smashed it, so I've got some juices coming out. And I just rub my meat with that. I pretty much do that to all meat. It just makes it taste better. Okay, the pan is on. See, I've got the fire going. Put the pan on and let your pan get hot before you start, and your cooking process will go much faster. You don't want your food languishing in a cold pan. So I can feel the heat coming off the pan. We're getting warm. I'm going to add some olive oil. I love Goya olive oil. It's actually Spanish. Yes, it is a product of Spain. This is the first cold press, and it is wonderful. You put your oil in until you're about ready to cook. Oils have different smoking points. I'm guessing the temperatures are in the 300 area, so we're much hotter than boiling or poaching or sauteing here. That happens at 212 degrees. And we're going to be cooking at a much higher temperature because there is no liquid involved. So here we go. We're going to dredge this just ever so slightly. We just lay that in our pan. We're not quite hot or we'd be seeing some action, so let's turn up the heat a little. Starting to see a little action there. I'm going to go ahead and flour the rest of these while I wait. And this is the way you cook. You let your pan do what it needs to do something else in the meantime, so that you can actually do the method correctly. You do want the pan to be hot and the product jumping. That way you're going to get good color before something is overcooked. Some people pound their meat into a scallopini, but I think it can get too thin, and I like some bite. So I'm going to make sure I have a little meat in here between the breading. Starting to see the action. I can hear it. Boy, I'm dredging myself. All right, here we go. Now I feel comfortable laying it in the pan. It's going to cool down the oil as we lay this in, so it's okay that we've got this on a high temperature. We want to keep contributing to the heat here. And you'll see these start to tighten up a little and shrink, and eventually I'm going to have room for all of this in here. I'm going to start my broccoli. We can do this all at the same time, believe it or not. Give my hand. And when I start to see juices coming through the top, I've got good color on the bottom. I've gotten white all the way around the edges. I'll be looking to turn them. They don't take very long when they're in this form, scallopine, maybe 3 minutes per side. I love the action I'm getting in the pan. Don't be afraid. To get a little smoke, don't be afraid of that either. Good cooking produces smoke. Getting a little splatter, but I can clean all that up. If you have one of those screens, you can use that now. But I'm not going to turn my heat down. My pan here is hot. I'm going to add a little olive oil to this. Eat as much olive oil as you can if you're not on the low-fat diet, because it's the good oil and it'll keep your cholesterol right where it needs to be. Okay, garlic cloves go right into the oil here, and we're going to saute those. We're going to get some action here real quick on this. You can see that. You see that? I'm manning stove. Come and have a look. The garlic is nice and brown. Look at that. And it's infusing, you can smell it. It's infusing its flavors into that oil, and I don't want burned garlic because that's bitter. So as soon as these have gotten dark like that, I'm going to take them out. And as you can see, I've got good color over here on the chicken. I don't know if you can see that, but there are juices coming out of the top, which means I've cooked all the way to the center, so we're at medium. We shouldn't be having any raw chicken in the center. So I'm going to check each one, look for color. See, that's beautiful with the color. Sometimes you have hot spots in your pan, so you move something around. See the color? That's good. How's that? That's good. That needs a little more. A little more. Oh, look, here's our garlic done. We want this nice and hot. Maybe you can see some of the smoke coming up. Now we're going to lay this broccoli right in there. If I had a bigger pan, I'd cook it all at once, but the biggest pan I have. So here we go. Do the popping, that's sauteing. Don't be afraid if you're that hot. Now we're going to take the chicken out. Back to the chicken. Now we've got our chicken in here and it's sauteing up nice. Whoops, lost a mushroom. Now is when you add your liquor to your dry, hot pan, and it's going to cook the alcohol right off. And the way to know how much, you want to put enough in your pan that it doesn't just all evaporate away. So here we go. I'm using, this is Marsala, it's a kind of sherry, and this is the dry kind, and it comes from Italy, but you can use California sherry or any kind of sherry, even a cooking sherry from the grocery store. You can see this is reducing. That means to cook the liquid out of. I'm going to grab a little bit of cream. And I tried to get beef consomme. That's what I use for a demi-glace or beef stock. Campbell's beef consomme doesn't taste great right out of the can, but as it reduces, it makes a beautiful, glossy sauce. And I tried to find it at the grocery store and they didn't have it. So we're substituting with beef broth or beef bouillon, but it does not have the gelatin in it that the consomme has. So it will affect the consistency of our sauce. And then I'm going to add a little bit of the French onion soup, which has sherry in it already, and onions won't hurt this dish. And it might have a little bit of starch or consomme in it. So I'm baking it today. You can see what it looks like. We're going to turn the heat up just a little, because now we can cook this sauce down rapidly. Our chicken is resting, and you can see the juices coming off of it. We want to add that back to our sauce. A touch of cream. That's to thicken this. You won't see it in the end. You won't know there's cream in here. And we're going to reduce this while we go back to our broccoli. All we really have to do to the broccoli from here to the end is to continue to turn it. Make sure all sides are getting brown. If your pan's getting dry, don't be afraid to add a little bit of oil. I know it looks like a lot, but again, olive oil is great for you. And then my other little secret is to add a touch of these pepperoncinis or chili patin or whatever you want to call them. I'm just going to sprinkle a few in there. It'll give it a zip. Very Italian. Just give it a jiggle. See, look, this is where we're going to be aiming for, right there. So I'm going to keep turning this broccoli as I watch my sauce and get it brown on all sides. I'll be back in a minute. 3 or 4 minutes have passed, and I want you to come and see where we're at in the process. Incredible color on our broccoli. I'm going to show you, you put a fork or a knife in and it comes right out. That's fork tender. So all I want to do now is to complete the coloring process. Well, let me get this to work. Where all of the broccoli is brown on each side. So I just want to make sure. I'll turn over any pieces that I think need a little more color. You can see it has shrunk up in the pan, and now it all fits. And if I wanted to turn it, I could just go like that, because now it's not so full. Now, over to our sauce for the chicken. As you can see, we're getting tacky, like we did when we were making the cream sauce. I'm going to bring that all back into the center, but that's over-reducing on the outside. We're really there. Now, I want to show you, if you over-reduce something and it gets too sticky, just you add a little more liquid there. And we'll bring it right back. And you can see it got thin again in the middle, so we'll incorporate that and we'll have the right texture again. Now to serve, all I'm going to do is drop these pieces back in here so they will be coated. They're still quite hot enough to serve, but this will reheat them a little. I'm going to turn this off. Delicious. I'm going to take my tongs and just turn them over so that they're coated. Let me just let those sit in the pan for 1 second while I check my broccoli. The heat is off. Am I happy here? Yeah, I'm pretty happy. I'm going to start to dish. Normally I'd really put the meat on the plate first, but I want to arrange this broccoli all nice. So here we go. Take out the pieces I like the most. That is not too dark. It might look burned to you, but it'll taste like a potato chip. And then maybe I'll put 1 or 2 going the other way, just so we look attractive on the plate. Here's one that's just perfect. Okay. Then I'm going to do the chicken. I'll do this to another plate. We'll sauce our chicken and we'll have a taste. Okay, we have everything plated. Taken the chicken all out of the pan, and now I just want to put a little of this very, very intensely flavored sauce. Because it's been reduced, that's why it's got such great flavor. We captured all the goodies on the bottom of the pan from the chicken. We've got great color from caramelization and our Campbell's products. And I'm going to bring this over to the table and let Ollie, my cameraman, have a taste. I hope you enjoyed sauteing. We did chicken marsala, which you could do with veal as well. And we sauteed some broccoli Italian style. Both of those items will last a while on the counter or in the pan. You can cook ahead of time, and when your guests arrive, you can simply reheat when you're ready to serve. Next time we'll be roasting or grilling. I haven't decided yet. One's done in the oven and one is done on the grill. Feel free to express your preference on my blog. And goodbye from sunny Florida, and see you next week.